And welcome back to another Sng Experience. Geez, what are we up to? 59? I think it is. Yeah. Not as many as we had back in the old days, right? But better this way, I think. So I want to start off by thanking Kasha, Giselle, and Jen so much for being here and being part of SNG Studios. We just love having you here. You're all doing such great work and you bring such lovely life to the studio. We are busier than ever because of you, and we love you for it very much, Mary and I both. So also I want to thank everybody for your support too on Patreon. Really, thanks guys. You guys are amazing. And I want to thank all of our friends on Facebook and all the other social media venues who have been so supportive and said so many wonderful things about us as we reach the closing of 2015, which has been an excellent year. Every year has just been so wonderful since I met Mary. Anyway, we've got a lot of stuff to do this week, a lot of different stuff, a very mixed bag. We are definitely going to be working on the show more, but not until the big enterprise is done that I'm working on for the Museum of Science Fiction. And it's going to be in the preview museum come this July, so we have to move. And I need to have it done by the end of the year so that starting in January, we are at full focus on But Something's There. I'm going to be appearing on Whitley Strieber's radio show called Unknown Country. Or actually, that's the website, but also I will be on his show called Dreamland. I'll announce that later on this month. But let's get to all the wonderful things we're going to do here. Well, we are back. It is Saturday. We had a great Thanksgiving. Boy, Mary just made one hell of a nice dinner. And it was just the two of us. We got to sit by candlelight at a nice table in a dining room and have a lovely turkey dinner. All by ourselves. It was great. I've never experienced that before in my life, and I couldn't have had better company if I tried. With that said, then, let's see, what did I do? Oh, geez, I played video games this weekend. Can you imagine that? Me, video games, yes. Well, much of you don't realize is that I've been playing video games since Pong. In fact, it was our generation that created the video game, the personal computer, the iPhone, everything that you've got. So often I will be asked by people, how old are you? And you're playing video games by young people, but they don't realize who gave them this technology, right? So, including the one in my hand. So, yes, I play virtual reality type games, Battlefield 4, flight simulators, very realistic ones, and that kind of stuff, and I love it, and I've stuck with it. In fact, I first started playing Battlefield when it was Battlefield 1942, and I love it. It's fun, and I don't get to do it much, and but I got a nice game rig at home, and I'm able to do it now. So that's what I did. Now here it is Saturday. I'm back here at work because 2 days off is 2 days more than I can take, really. I mean, because we got so much going on here, we need to get as much done as possible. And one of the big things on my list is this Enterprise. And you know that we, last week, got this pointed up to a point now where the cells fit really good. As it turns out, I don't need this. Don't need that anymore. Go away. I have them inside the nacelles. I thought that they would help to, this is shim temporarily, to help keep the droop down. As it turns out, I don't need it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this right now. They add so much extra weight. My God, the difference between that one and this one. They're like night and day. And as long as these are tight and locked well, it's never going to come out. It's never going to sag. So the big deal is now is to get that done, then build a little box right here, which I can put some putty in, put the side back on, and put back in the other nacelle and make that slot that we need, like this one. So let's do that. Okay, I'm a happy dude because these darn things were really messed up bad. And as I said before, it was because somehow, somewhere along the line, when I put the nacelles together, I did them wrong. I don't know what I did for the first one. It was 4 years ago. But you see that piece of wood across the top. That shows me they're parallel to the deck, which is amazing. And they're parallel to each other. And neither one of them are drooping. In fact, if anything, they're towing in a bit. Well, they're drooping down. But this is in their most relaxed position. I can't get them to go, you know. In other words, they're solid. And they are leaning forward a bit. My theory is over time, a little bit of working and banging and taking apart and stuff, they're going to go perfectly level, but I'm not really worried about it. Plus we have some weight that's going to go here, which will affect it a little bit. They can rotate a bit, but really, the way I did this, they are so solid now that those troubles are over. So this is really good, and they're parallel to each other, and they're nasty looking, but now I got to fix them up. But since I removed that bar, you know, they've gone back to their original shape. They're very warped along the seam, but that's not going to be a problem. That's what putty and Bondo is for. I just like the fact that you can actually remove the nacelles if they're needed. But no, this is really, really good, and I'm really happy with this. So now this means I can really finish this model up and finish it up quick. Of course, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get these working and lit up. I'm going to get these two shells together on here next week, and I'm going to get them all round again. Once they go together, I'm going to put a lip under each side, which will help with some of this. They're nice and okay here. It's just here is where they got damaged from sitting apart for so long and having that other material in there. So, but that's no problem. Once I get them together, I can shape them really well. So just like everything on this ship. So the main thing was getting these solid, and I mean they are solid, and I mean they are solid. So I got a little bit of gapping to do around here and fixing these and stuff. That's all putty, no problem whatsoever. So I'm really happy. Okay, so we got some nacelles on, and they're really nice and straight. See what happened when they put on the other side of them is that the weight kind of contributed a bit, and they're still not really, they look perfectly straight, but I gotta tell you something, guys and girls, is that they are not. They are actually tipped forward according to my what do you call that thing? A level. But you know, because if you look at the tops of them, they're parallel. I mean, they're level, and they shouldn't be. What always makes this ship look, again, and I've said this a million times, and I'll say it again, like the nacelles are drooping. Even on the one in the Smithsonian, is that you see how wide that is? All right. And you see how wide that is? It's a taper, and it's one heck of a taper. And so if these were really correct, they'd look like they were drooping. So, but they're really parallel to each other. They're not towing in, towing out. They're really nice. If I go all the way down here, it's apparent that they are really very, very linear and very straight and true to each other. So even better than mine. So that makes me really, really happy, because that is a pain. Oh, and look how solid they are too. These come out. These remove. So these are very, very solid. And the way I got the joints inside to be so solid as they are is I went in there and I put some goddarn CA in there, and that really, really, and then held them at an angle and helped. Because the thing with Bondo and polyester resin is it's a relatively soft material. So the more you wiggle it and move it and stuff, the more you have those problems. So, and since I just did it today, it's not going to be really super hard for a couple more days. So we're going to let this sit. Tomorrow and Monday and Tuesday we'll get back to it. It should be just fine, but I'm real happy. Yes, happy. And here we are. It's a very cold Monday for us here in California. And I pulled out one of the nacelles. And yes, it is, wow. It was in the 50s here, but it's now in this back bay. It is 60 degrees, and we've got, I don't know, humidity is really low because of our Santa Ana conditions. So, and what we're going to do is we're going to put this nacelle together next. I want to get the two halves together because the ends will be open, and it's easy to run the cable through to light up the front. So I'm tired of these warped, nasty things. I'm going to get them together and these together as well, which is the next step in this journey of putting this model together. My plan is to try to have it done by the end of the year. So we'll see how I do. So what I've done here is put in a styrene flange, and this will hopefully make this lock together again. These are really bad. They're smooth from here to here and from here to here. The edges are terrible. I could recast new ones. I'm not sure that would make a difference. The molds are so bad. So we're going to close this up. Let's see. Theoretically, huh? It always looks easier at first glance than it actually is. We popped out over there, and this has to close. I insist. I am your boss here, inanimate object. No, I know this has to close. This has to close. Come on. There we go. See? Told you. It closes. Look at that. Now to get it to close even, stop here, put some glue in there, and do a lot of fidgeting, but it does fit together. So next step will be to get inside here and get these edges to meet end to end the way they're supposed to. That's going to be a good trick. So these things are pretty horrible, but Giselle has been helping me. Thank you, Giselle. Vacuum this as I sand along the edges that really don't want to fit good. That's the bottom. This is the top. You can see how bad this all is, but it's okay because the actual shape is matching. This is all smooth. There's no decal on it, so we're going to put some Evercoat on this and sand it really nice. We are now, finally, at long last, going to open up these ears molds. Not ears, ear molds. So, okay, so I should be able to just open this way. I did not pre-tap these or do anything to them. They're just going to open like that. And there's the nice jacket. I'm showing Giselle. And the clay inside. Of course, you have to clean off all of this. Now, you can see the force I used to open these. Had these been Ultracal, they break. So it's much better just using the resin. And since there was no, I forgot to put Krylon in this, we do not have to throw this clay away. We can save it. So I got the jacket out, and you can see how flexible this is, and now we can just get the ear sculpture out. Really easy, he says knowingly. But it's just loose in there, so I just have to work it out like that. There we go. Now we got a nice clean ear mold. And they are just beautiful. No bubbles, nothing. These are gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, spectacular molds, exactly the way it's supposed to be. So this will go back in here. This will go back in here. I said this will go back in like so. It just fits back in perfect. It takes a second. And that's how we do that. And after Giselle gets those cleaned out, we can put them back together, and we'll be able to run some silicone in them this week, which I'm looking forward to. And that's how you do a prosthetic Spock ear mold. So I'm going to open the second one here. Oh, that one, the whole piece came out, which is beneficial, really. Looks like the whole sculpture is going to stay put too. See, that's why doing this in one piece, I mean, look at that, Giselle, isn't that amazing? And here's our jacket. No bubbles. It's very clean. Very nice. So that came out really, really good. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And that's cleaned out now, so which is great too. And then this will fit right back inside here again, gorgeously. And that gives us our air molds. We just got to clean up the molds, and hey, we can run foam later this week. Or not foam, we're going to run silicone. So this worked out really well. I did a second pass using the old curved card trick. As you look down it, it's all smooth and correctly contoured and straight. When I put, it's set up, yes it has. When I put a straight edge on it, you can see it's set up. Yes, it is. Okay. Put the straight edge on it. You can see that line is perfectly flat and level all the way around. So we have a very, very good nacelle again. Now we just have to do that side. And this side is not as bad as this side was, so we're really in good shape. I am so pleased I don't have to lay up another set of these. After this sets up, I got to cut this open, and we're going to do the other one. Here we go. Here's the molds all cleaned up, and you can see our overflow exits on the edges there. These molds are pretty light because this isn't stone, and you can see the whole base of the ear through there if you look in there. But these really just are effortless to take apart and put back together again. And that just fits right in like that, closes down, snap and snap. Same thing with this one. The ear fits right down in there. Yeah, so we're gonna spray our baldies in there. We're gonna spray in our Prosaid with the airbrush and do the encapsulated silicone and close that up like that and let them sit for overnight probably, and we'll have ears. It's that easy. It just really, really, really came out great. Okay, here's Giselle's teeth, which she's been working on and mounting in the back plate. It's the first time she's done this herself. She's done an excellent job. Basically, we're going to end up with something like this. And what kind of teeth are you going to make first?
Werewolf.
Werewolf.
Yep.
Now we're going to have to do your life mask.
Yep.
Yep, so we can do a werewolf. But you'll be able to do any kind of teeth you want on those. So you did a great job. Tomorrow we'll remove the clay and clean those up, and we can start you sculpting.
Can't wait.
And on these too. So over here, I've been working on this all day. Well, for almost 5 hours. These actually come off and come on. They're pinned on with pins, so it's very easy to remove them to get inside to electronics. Same thing with the end caps here. They started life as this nasty, overlapping, warped, and bad, ill-fitting piece, and ended up looking like this. Now what you're seeing here is the red putty, which is on there to fill all the scratches and stuff. When this is sanded, these things are round, they're smooth, they're beautiful underneath as well. And they have really good form, and they're really straight and true. So being that the sides of them, from like here to here are fine, I just had to correct that. We're gonna do the same thing with those tomorrow. And these are the actual buzzard caps that will go on. There's another one that goes underneath that will actually turn. We're gonna light these up this week too and have the motors turning. Okay, so we're back. It's Tuesday and we are on the next nacelle. I'm so pleased with how this one came out that I'm going to now start working on this one and get them together. I mean, look at them. This is very thin here. Should have been reinforced, which I'm going to do before I even start putting the two halves together, so I can retain as much of the original surface as possible. This was something I had to try. In that I mean, I use fiberglass cloth in 1630. Is it 1630? Yes. Brushable 2-part polyurethane to make the parts. Now, in the past, people have reinforced these parts with, they lay in this material first, which lays up very well. It gives you a beautiful surface, as you can see here. Gets all the detail, hardly any bubbles, unlike fiberglass resin, epoxy resin, or polyester resin. It's pretty much free of that kind of thing. So, but it's hard to get it to soak into the cloth as well, and so you get and get it to lay down. So you get some of this kind of stuff here. So it was a gamble, and I took it and I won, sort of. But I know how to get around this problem. So we're going to fix this, and we're going to put the two sides together, and I'm going to show you a little bit more step by step how I do that. So the first thing you do is take this wonderful scrap plastic that Elliot Brown sent me and make a straight edge out of it. Like so. Because I'm going to make a flange. So this stuff is a little thinner than the stuff I used yesterday, so it should be less of a problem going around getting the right and left hand sides to match up pretty well, because the other stuff, as strong as it was, I just need enough plastic in there to key the two sides together. Do this again. This stuff's pretty thin. It may be too thin, but we'll see. I just slice it like that, and I break it like that, and it just comes right off. See? Isn't that wonderful? And wonderful. Then we're going to take the two sides here, and I'm going to, this goes like this. So this is the opposite side. I need to have this strip all the way down here. Now, before I do that, I think, well, maybe I won't. Maybe it's not so important. Now I'm looking at it. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to cut this off right about there. And then I'm going to take some CA and making sure that I'm putting it on the right side. Also, oh yes, very important thing to do here is stand up and rough up the inside here. It'll stick better. And same thing on this. I'm gonna rough this up. It'll stick better to the CA. And we go like that. I'm gonna put some CA on it like so. Let's get this thing together. Actually, first I'm going to do is I'm going to put some kicker all the way on there, like so. And then I've got the glue on this side, and I can go like this, and it'll kick it off pretty quick, right where I need it. To get it where I want it right now. And then I can just run it under. Now, unfortunately, that did not go at the angle I wanted it to be at, so no problem, because it's just a flange. We'll cut it off there, like so. We'll reorient this one, like so, and put some more glue there. And glue the flange in place so that it is, in fact, at an angle that will keep it a relative approximate distance all the way down. And now we're going to do it all the way down, bit by bit till we're there. See, it makes instant contact when you do it that way. Instant, it sets up instantly, or pretty instant. Just the fumes from the kicker will do that. You see, that's pretty strong. Need a little more right here. Time to put some more kicker in the bottle. Strong. I run this all the way down now. Like so. We should have ourselves a nice little flangey-wangy. as Dr. Who would say. Call it a little flangey thingy, bingy, flangey thingy. And we got it on my fingers too, which is par for the course. And I need some more kicker, because I just ran out. In here. But you get the idea. And we're going to do that on the other side too, except we're going to break the strip up. I'm going to put it here, cut this like so. And you don't need it all the way down. You really don't. And then that will go like that to account for where it mounts. And we're going to do the same thing here. And cut that. And that gives me my flange. So, and that of course goes on this part. And then we're going to fit the two sides together. Okay, now I got the two halves together, and oh boy, do they fit badly. But no, that doesn't matter. We know what we did with the other one. So what I'm going to do is, this fits really good right here, so we'll start there. You can just make out the flange in there. And we're going to do this. You put the glue right in there, like so, all the way up to here for now. And then we're going to shut this, wink, like so. And we got a nice match here. Here is not so good. But no problem, and because you know that's why they made Evercoat, Bondo, and a number of other materials that will facilitate in taking care of this problem. And CA, which is confusing to get down in there. And I've learned a new trick that's pretty awesome with CA. Actually, this works. You can actually, using these vinyl gloves, use CA to glue this together without getting it on your fingers. Yeah, imagine that. Now see, we got a step there. I do not like that. There's nothing I can do about it because the parts are so bad. So we're just going to do this, and then we're going to use after what I learned yesterday, putting the first one together. I realized that I can fix everything with the putty. Did pretty darn well too. We're going to do that. Push that together. That's a good fit right there. It's going to settle down nicely. And that pretty much puts that together, although, you know, we got that step there, but no problem. We'll just fix it. I round it out with some more of that stuff. So, boy, is that up high, too, on this side, because this side dipped down. But I think this side is the correct. This is the warp side. So, yes. So now we're going to turn around here, and we're going to do more of the same. You can see how the flange holds it all together. We're just going to run a bead all the way down this time. All the way down here, there. All the way here, and all the way here. And push it together. Bunk, like so. Pretty cool, huh? Push that together. Good fit, actually, on this side, much better. There is a little bit of sticking to the gloves, but better that than on my hand. I really hate it when it's on the hand. It's darn right annoying. Because they used, you know, I think the rubber gloves, it did not work. Rubber gloves were bad. Rubber gloves, bad. Vinyl gloves, good. There, look at that, see? You can beat a man to death with it. Boom, boom, boom. They should make them illegal. Should take away our right to make themselves, because you could kill somebody with them. But there it is. You guys know what I'm getting at, too, don't you? Anyway, I'm gonna put that in there, a little more there, because that little cracking I did just caused that separated it there, and it's good to know that because you know we want it to all stay together. It looks nice and true. I'm gonna take a straight edge to it and check. Very true indeed. Very nice. So that's how we do that. Now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna try to make this look better. And we're gonna do that by adding Evercoat. Okay, using Evercoat metal glaze, and this stuff is really good. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, come on, Bondo's the same thing, it works just as good. Wrong. This stuff is worth the 40 bucks for one of these. It's entirely different. Yes, it's a two-part polyester resin-based putty. However, this stuff sands easier. I don't know, it's working time, everything about it I like better than Bondo. I do use Bondo for where I have to fill really big bad stuff. But this is what really is, you can do much finer work with this, and then after you do the fine work with this, you go over it with some red putty and get out all the big scratches. Because red putty is kind of like thick primer, really, air cured stuff. We'll get into that in a minute. So I'm mixing it up so it's a kind of a light pale blue because that tells me I've got enough catalyst in it. You can make it go off much faster if you use more, but in general, I don't like to do that because it would be it's a bit, well, you'll make it, the faster you catalyze something, the more brittle it's going to be, I have found. So what I'm doing is running a bead along here, like so. And you don't want to mix up too much with this stuff. If you run short, you run short. If you make a whole bunch up and you don't use it, you're going to feel bad because you just wasted a lot of money. So most of the seam is pretty good, like right along here. I'm going to show you a little technique that some of you probably know about, but many of you may not know about. It's called carding. It started with using credit cards. I just cut up a strip of styrene because it does basically the same thing. In fact, it flexes a bit more. Styrene, thin styrene, scrap that's left over. Like you take it, you can curve it, see, and so it will match the curve of everything else. And you kind of do this, and you'll follow the same contour. And you can see where you need more and where you don't. Do that again. That's better. And it spreads further too. See? Really nice. And you got the same contour back. Now I've used too much. I'm probably going to have enough to go all the way to the bottom now that I've done this. There will be a second pass. Absolutely there will be a second pass. But you see how that evened it all up? The step is gone, and that'll set up in a minute, and we'll lightly sand that and then do another pass, which will get the last of it. Really nice. I love that. You see, you can't do this with Bondo. Bondo this is much thinner. It's not thick. It spreads really well, and it's basically used to go over the Bondo repairs to make the outside surface very smooth. And I kind of screwed up there, but that's okay. Come right off. And that's that. We're going to do that with both sides, but then we're going to sand it. Okay, so now I am sanding the stuff down before it gets really, really hard. And even when it does, it sands like wood. It's so nice. A little divot right there. Not bad though, and so it sands really nice. And you can see how quickly I'm able to do that. Bondo will not work that way. Bondo is so, I don't know, it clogs up the sandpaper so fast. You see, I got a nice contour there again. So we got a little lift right here because I'm going to build again one more pass, but really, really works good. So we're going to come back here in a minute after I sand this, do a second pass, and then we'll do the other side, and we'll have a really nice nacelle. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do another pass, and there's a dippity-doo here that I want to get. This is top side, so it's really critical that this be a proper contour, and it just isn't right here. This is where what really bad area was. Also, we're going to need some right over here. The rest of it's pretty good. We're just going to build that up like that. And contour it one more time, and that should get it. Luckily, there are parts that go on the nacelles that really help kind of hide a lot of this bad stuff too. It just pulls your eye away from it, theoretically speaking. I hope it'll help. And there's a dippity-doo there too I didn't like. Another one right here. And now I'm going to take the other side of this piece and contour this. And I'm just going to do it like that. And then I'm going to wipe it once and then not touch it, because that way it will maintain the curve. This is coming all the way up beautifully, 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 beautifully so, all the way to the end, like that. And that is rather exact now. And I could do it one more time with what's left right here, if I'm real clever. You see? I'm not going to worry about that little bit there, because what I want more than anything is that contour. I want to match. I wish I could use a little more of this right here. Wish I actually used too much. I thought that I was there, but yeah, I could do it on this side just to start filling this up. This is the bottom, which is the worst side. I hate wasting this stuff. It is expensive, and so I'll just do that. That worked pretty well. But we really, oh man, that's nice. We're just not going to touch that. Let that set up, and then I'm going to take the sander to it. I've been using this sander too, which works really good. But I think basically I can get most of this by hand. Okay, while that sets up, I really don't like these ends. The ends on these are kind of nasty. And so what I'm going to do is do what I did with the other one, and that is to make, I'm going to make end caps. And the way I'm going to do that is using some more scrap plastic from the famous and wonderful human being, Elliot Brown. He's really my hero, one of my heroes in life. I'm going to make a tracing. It'll also show me if this is halfway round at all. And look at that, it is. Okay, this is for the front one, and this is for the back one. And what this does is it strengthens the ends and allows me to put some putty in behind this and give me a nice round end cap all the way around, which is not apparent in the resin itself. What I'm going to do is just sort of eyeball this inside diameter, because it doesn't have to be perfect. I do want the end caps, the buzzard bases, to be removable in case we ever have to get in there to fix lights. It's not exactly perfectly round, but you know what? If I didn't tell you that, you wouldn't know. Some of you rivet counters might, because you'll go to the museum and you'll try to get your calipers out and say, well, let's see what Neill did here. But before you get too far, security will have you, and well, what are you going to do then? Because there's going to be cameras all over this thing. I'd love to see you try to do that. I wouldn't put it past you. Maybe you'll use a laser level or something. But basically, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my super duper sharp knife, which really isn't so sharp, but you don't need a real sharp knife, and I'm just going to go around here, around the outside edge, because you can always sand, it off. You just want it to be basically the correct size. I don't want to cross in front of the camera if I can avoid it. I think you can probably see what I'm doing here. And I'm going to go all the way around. I'm going to score this, like so. And all of you should know by now, you've seen me do it so many times, that all you have to do is score the styrene. And you know what? I didn't know that at first. And then this rather talented model maker named David Merriman said, "You dummy, what are you doing? Just all you got to do is score the stuff and snap it." So ever since then I've done that. So I learned a lot of good stuff from David Merriman, among other modelers. But as he's so fond of saying, we stand on the shoulders of giants. Well, that's true. It's true. So David showed me this. It works really well, as you will see as soon as I get all the way around here. So now I'm going to break this one out before we run out of memory card or something. You can see how easily that breaks away there. And I have a nice end cap here. There we go. And then the center section, we'll break that free. Now we have a nice end cap that will fit this accordingly, like so. And it makes it nice and solid. It gives me a nice, perfectly flat surface. And I'm going to putty up to it and stuff, and the end cap will pin and plug into this, as you'll see in a little while. Okay, what I got here is a nice round surface again. Really, honestly, see? Wow, nice again. And underneath, same thing. This is all Evercoat. And I've got my end caps on, or the ends I put on with some thick styrene, which you saw me do. And there's pins in there, and what that allows, or hole pins, what that allows me to do is take the end cap like that. I'll turn it this way so you can see it better. I need a mark on the top side. I really did. And this goes like so. Obviously that was the wrong way. Mark's pretty much gone now. That goes, fits like that. And then the end cap, which is here, that's the Buzzard collector. And this one goes like this. Like that. And we have a complete nacelle minus the actual dome that goes on it, the motor, the lights, and all that. But we got the full thing here, so that worked out really well. What I'm going to do next is hit it with red putty. So here we have my favorite air-cured putty called Bondo Spot or Glazing and Spot Putty. It's wonderful, try it! And a lot of you have. And the first thing I'm going to do is put some gloves on. Okay, so we're going to, hopefully before I run out of memory, this is a pretty simple procedure. I'm just going to put this stuff on here like so. This is air-cured putty, and then I'm going to take the card like this, and I'm going to do the same thing I did with the other stuff. This gets all the scratches, and it also fills in a lot of the low spots, stuff like that. And we're going to do this for the entire surface practically, because it'll get all the scratches. And then tomorrow we'll sand that and primer it. Cool stuff. Okay, just to wrap it up, well, I have still 2 minutes of memory card left. Here are both nacelles. They both have to be sanded and primered, but they both fit really good. They're both really level and nice, and they look really good. So this one has to be leaned a bit higher this way, which I'm going to shim up tomorrow inside the slot. But other than that, we are looking really good. And over here, Giselle is working on the teeth, both hers and mine, and we're going to start sculpting some teeth here tomorrow. And also we're going to make some wigs. We're going to make a wig, Klingon wig, which we'll be starting on tomorrow as well. So that's going to be fun. We are back, and it's Happy Doodly Doo Wednesday, whatever that means. And it's just Rose and I here today till Giselle gets here, because Mary's at home. Where's Mary? With Zeno. Yeah, she is. Mary's at home working today, and I'm here, and I've been running around. I bought a bunch of paint, light ghost gray and white, light ghost gray and white, and we got 2 of these. So one of these gives us an accurate hull color for this ship. So I'm going to need more on this, but that's what they had. I got some more primer here, which should be more than enough to get this all primered and sand these off. I got a lot of filling and fixing to do on these, but that's not the main point of focus. I got some tubing here to run as channels through these so that before I can really lock these down and be sure that they're level, these kind of squish and move around. So until they're solid and filled and fixed, which is what we're going to do today, I cannot finalize how these are mounted exactly, although they are sitting very level and true to each other right now. So, and we're solid too. I mean, they wiggle a bit. Of course they do. They're going to, but when they wiggle and drop to their final position, they are in the correct position, in fact. So that's good. What else did we get? We got an order from Berman's, and I've been collecting lots of stuff from Berman's. We have flocking here, lots of flocking, and what that flocking is going to be used for is doing our silicone prosthetics for these ears and other projects. And we got, what else did we get here? We got some more dental acrylic white. So we got lots of the clear stuff for doing windows, and then we have the platinum silicone gel 10 deadener. And what that does is you mix that with your silicone, and that gives you a softer silicone. And the flocking, of course, is used for our silicone molds. We'll get into that later, because what that's used for is to adhere it to the prosade, which you get sprayed onto the baldies, and that allows the silicone to bind with the prostate and the baldies, so the baldies doesn't slip around on the outside of the silicone when it's on someone's face and being used as a soft prosthetic. So I'm over here, and I just taken these horrible, ugly, awful pylons apart, and they're just terrible, worse than the nacelles have ever been. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run two channels like this through here, and one's going to be for the power to the engines. I'm seeing a big warp right there. I never even knew it was in, and that's a result of the mold. Look at that. You see that curve in there? That's terrible. We're going to have to fix that, and I know how to do it. It's a shame. Anyway, so what I'm doing here is I'm running two channels through here to run both the power to the lighting and to the motors. Now, you're probably thinking, well, why don't you just run them off both? Well, the reason is because at the museum, you're going to have the ability to access this model with an app that will allow you to turn the motors off and on, and lights off and on, and stuff like that. So we have to have separate channels for that. So everything's going to be run on 9 volt. Even though they are 12 volt motors, 60 RPM motors, it'll drop them down about 50 RPM, which is pretty close to what the real ship had, and they'll run cooler and draw less amperage and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put these channels in, and then we're going to close this up and fix all this terrible broken chip nasty stuff. And you know how I'm going to do that, because really what I need is this, and this is all fine, the recesses, although I did get some stuff on them, but the recesses are fine, and that's where the screens go that I have, the brass edge stuff. So once I get all this together, it'll look pretty good, just like these. Okay, so here we have basically our tubing in place, and because it's aluminum, it will bend very easily. So now when I load in a bunch of Bondo, which is what I'm going to actually use on this part of it, to get the two halves shut, I won't trap the electrical, right? And I can move through really smoothly, and I can add longer wire, whatever I need. Main thing is let's get these things together. Okay, for this step, I'm going to use Bondo. This is where Bondo comes in really handy. It's cheap. Pretty cheap, you know. One of these is what, about 30 bucks or something, $29, and you get twice as much as you get of the other stuff, and it's great for filling and stuff, and then and using in bulk to fill those over there. So we're gonna mix this up. An amazing thing happens when you actually make these solid. I filled this one with Bondo, just like I talked about. And I mean, it doesn't wiggle any way. Now, you'd think this was all glued, and I thought I was going to have to glue the cell in. And in fact, it's actually drooping forward a bit, which to me is a welcome change, because by the time this gets pulled in and out a few times, and when gravity starts to work on it, it's going to go down that little bit much more over time, and then it'll be absolutely perfect, rather than the other way around. Now, it looks particularly drooping forward because the other one is, and has not, the pylon has not been done yet. But you'll see that the pylon is nice and even. It's really well situated to the base, and you might think and up here as well. I still have some little bit of sanding to do where I puttied it and stuff. And you'd think, well, you know, that's great, Steve, but you know, that's gonna pull out. So, I mean, that's gonna never pull out. It's stuck in there. No, these parts all come apart and go back together again, and they're fitting really snug. So I was wrong about, you know, we can actually remove these nacelles and pylons for shipping, but it really isn't necessary when you consider the fact that they're this far inside and almost level with the top of the saucer. There's really no advantage in terms of space and shipping, a little bit this way. But I prefer to ship it in one piece rather than have the guys back in Washington try to figure out which one goes where and, you know, all that stuff. Just ship it built. That's what we're gonna do. But if we ever have to, we can take these off. So that's kind of neat. I don't have to glue it, which is really good, especially for when I'm working on it right now. So this is excellent. Now I gotta pull off the other one. So I have some food here. And do that side and do the same thing and get it all pointed up and then red putty this and then put it back, and both our nacelles should be about the same, although I do have to, on this one, it needs to be leaning this way more. And I'm thinking, well, part of it's that is not attached yet and won't be until I finish off everything inside, and this too. But mostly it's because this stuff is, you can see it can flex and stuff. This has to be solid. It has to be solid down between here. Right, take this off. Come on, off you go. Can't do it with one hand. They fit that snug, but basically the ends that go in there are not solid, and the plastic can flex. So when I did this one, I was, oh my goodness, this thing is strong and straight and true and wonderful. So I'm so thrilled about that. I really am. So like I said, I still got a few little problems. Like I keep finding these thin spots here that I need to fill in with some more putty, but other than that, we're really good. So now I'm working on this one, same deal. You know, I got stuff to fill and sand, but it's coming out really good. And it's also very, very strong and solid, and I got some gap filling to do. Over here, Giselle is working on some Klingon teeth. I found these on the net. I wanted to do something like that. I don't think these were actually used in Star Trek, but we're starting out on the teeth first. And boy, I have wide teeth, but these are wide too. And we're going to do the teeth first, she's going to do, and then we're going to add the gums, then we're going to make a silicone mold. Then she's going to make werewolf teeth over here. Now Jen over here is coring our, hi Jen.
Hi.
She is coring and doing an incredible job of coring. It's the first time you've ever cored, right?
Correct.
You've never cored a mold before?
No.
You wouldn't lie to me.
I'm not lying.
Okay. I didn't think you would.
Promise,
Anyway,
promise.
so, well, I meant to say, you wouldn't fit me. But anyway, so this is just incredible. This is exactly what we need. And of course, this is to accommodate, try the other one, to accommodate that. She's going to doing the other side now. What this clay does is replicate the foam thickness that we want, the foam latex. And when we get both sides done, we close this, we're going to fill it with Ultracal. There'll be wire in here to reinforce these fingers. And we take it apart, clean it up. We'll have something that looks kind of like this, but all out of Ultracal, and it won't have these notches in it. And when we run the foam in the mold, we actually end up with a glove that fits right over these. That's why coring is so important, and I got stuff in there, I'm sorry. So, and you were asking about widening this out. Well, we can do that real fast.
Okay.
Okay, so these are definitely solid
and straight and parallel and not drooping and in their correct positions. Amazingly, it only took me 2 days. Now I'm going to show you something.
So just to show you, I'm going to lift this out. And I'll lift this out. Yep. And there's the tubes here for the lighting. This plugs in like that. Beautiful. And there's plugs in like this. And that's it. But these aren't glued on yet because it can't be until I heat them. They pin on like that. And that's that. And they're that strong. So, I don't know what I did with my first model I built, but it didn't come out like this. Giselle is working on my Klingon teeth, and I only started the one tooth, and she's been working off that picture there and making these beautiful teeth. We still have to add the gums tomorrow and stuff, but really, I mean, this is the first time you've ever done this. You've never sculpted before, and these are your first teeth.
No art classes, no nothing, so.
No, nothing.
Learning.
Really, really excellent. And you've never cored a mold before, and this core is like as good as it gets. This is really, really good. So we won't have time tonight to pour this, but we will in the morning. And if you come back on Friday, we'll do the other one, and we will pour that one so you can see what happens. Either way, you'll get when you come back, you'll see what comes out of that, which is this is the hard part. What I'm going to do tomorrow is the easy part. And I mean, this is the first time that she's ever done a core, and it's really, really, really good. I'm so pleased. Great work. Okay, it is now Thursday, and we're still at this, and we're going to be at this for a while, but what I'm going to do now is start sanding down all this putty and stuff and primering the various sections, and I'm going to cast up some new of these, because these have a lot of bubbles in them, and you know what? In the time it'll take me to fix the bubbles, I could have new ones which will be better out of Alumilite instead of 1630. Okay, so we got our first coat of primer on, and I found lots of little things, and that's always the way it is, and we're sanding that down. We're putting a little squadron putty on it because it dries real fast. Not that much though, you can tell by looking at it. We didn't have that many problems at all. Pretty good. Had a few on this, not too bad. Looks good, so you can tell we got all our details back. The screens go in here. So that's what I'm doing at this point, and it'll probably take 2 passes, maybe even 3. I'm hoping not 3, but it's really looking good. So the nacelles are all kind of primered up and looking pretty good now, so I can leave those alone for a while and start working more on these over here, the pylons, get those painted next. Jen is working on the other hand and claying that up. So we're going to pour these in stone pretty soon here. So that's going to be cool. And Giselle will be here soon, and she'll be working on the teeth. So we're having lots of fun. At least they are. Doing this they look pretty good now. You know, they are what they are, and the molds are what they are, but they don't look that bad. Turn your light back on. Turn your light back on. We gotta get pictures and stuff. Okay, we're shooting here, and here are Giselle's teeth. And we're gonna get them under the light there so you can actually see them, which are really cool and really, really, really well done. The last thing you need to do with those to finish them off, of course, is take the solva, this stuff here, the turpenoid, and smooth them out and stuff. But those are incredible.
Thank you.
They're really good. I'm excited.
Me too.
Now all I have to do is do the bottoms.
Yep.
And we'll have to come up with something for that, but that's tomorrow. So, and over here, we've got Jen been working on, and Kasha have been working on putting wire reinforcement inside these hands so that when we pour them out of stone, they'll have strength to them. They won't break quite so easily. They'll probably break anyway. We really should do these out of resin, but I don't have the correct resin to do it, so this will work. Probably the best thing we're going to do with these, though, the way you did this, is take the CA and kicker, and we'll position them that way before we cast them. So
CA kicker?
yeah, because once the stone sets off, they'll be locked in place. Okay. Kicker is the accelerator. So.
Okay, I getcha.
And over here, this crazy man is continuing to work on these darn nacelles. And yeah, they're finally
getting there. I don't know why there's a crack here now, but there is, and I have to fix that, but I will. They're very clean to the edge, and everything's getting really nice. And now I'm working on mounting these, and there's a plate behind here, and what I'm doing is drilling a very large hole and putting a very large solid bolt through there that will hold these on so they don't come off like they did on mine a few times. So here's the basic idea. There's a bulkhead back here. I'm going to cut around this a little bit for the motor placement, but it's going to, and I've threaded this, so this is much better than my nacelles on my original one. And in fact, the original Enterprise, after this one is done, is going to come in here and we're going to refit the whole thing.
Really?
And yes, we are. We're going to make it all nice and as cool or groovy as this one. I'm not going to do the clear windows. I'm not going to put people and all that stuff inside, but I'm going to fix stuff that's always bugged me, and this is one of them. Okay, so this rocks the house. I'm going to put another screw like this down on this side, and it does just clear, please forgive the mess, this. So, which is going to be connected to the motor, which will be in the middle, and then the this goes under these domes here. Next thing I'm going to do here is to get the dome strapped on. They were actually strapped on with leather straps from here to there. Okay, so here we have our nacelle. I got to make the little leather straps, which really won't be leather. They'll be, the real ones were leather. This are going to be out of styrene, which will hold those on. I frosted it, and because they are supposed to be frosted, and took the nipple off there that's on these. Ground that off. We painted our end cap. It still needs a little more sanding and stuff, but overall, we pretty much have our nacelle minus the other parts that go on it. Just a little bit of cleanup on everything still. We got a good nice seat down here, nice fit, it's clean. It's the way it should be all the way around, although I do have to putty that in tomorrow and sand it up a bit, but it's really getting there. Last thing, of course, we're going to do is paint this area dark, put the grills in, and the other parts that go over it, which are these guys here. We can get it to stay in there, and they go like that, and they cover up a lot of sins. And then we have, of course, these parts that go up here, which needs some work, but we're getting there bit by bit. I want to get these nacelles completely done, the lights in them and everything by next week, and then we're going to go to the rest of the model because we got all the little figures we have to paint, and I tell you guys, at that size they are, you can't make out who it is. So we do have a plan for that as well, but we're going to have them standing in the window, and people will know that they're supposed to be you. They'll be able to tell that from the computer. I'm getting punchy. It's been a long day. This actually is a real color. This is the primer color. They're really close, aren't they? Yeah, so we'll come back to this tomorrow and get the other nacelle put together. And then I'm going to go around and just card it in a few spots where I see some little irregularities. But keep in mind, the real one had lots of them, and so do real naval ships if you go down and look at them in dock. And of course, you know, this is a 23rd century ship, so maybe they don't have imperfections like that, but then again, who knows for sure. After all, this is a TV model spaceship. So that's going to do it for Thursday. We'll be back for Friday. Let's see what shirt I'm wearing while I'm working on it. Love that shirt. Anyway, see you guys tomorrow. Okay, so at long last, these nacelles are parallel, flat, straight, strong, slotted and perfect in every way, shape, and form. And I'm going to go past Kasha here and Giselle and show you from this great distance. You can see how perfect they actually are. And you can bang them, wiggle them, and do everything else in the world to them, and they stay nice, no matter what happens, and without gluing them, which I still might do a little bit of, but they'll come loose if we ever need them to go. But these are very, very strong and very, 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 very solid. Whew. Anyway, so I'm going to take a break from that, and we're going to pour up these the hands and make the cores, which are in these bags. So here we got a bucket of Ultracal, and we poured it in here.
Put the two halves of the mold together, put the wire inside for reinforcement, and pour these up pretty thin. They're going to sit here until they gel, and then we're going to build some more up on top here, but basically this little half moon here will just key that into the mold. So it's going to be cool. Okay, so here we are getting started on Steve's Nautilus. Now we're not going to use this. We're going to be using this wonderful, beautiful Robert Demick watertight cylinder, which will fit very nicely in here. I got backwards, and it replaces the older type technology. But nevertheless, you still need to have this part so you can figure out where the heck there's another one here. These go, and these actually key into it and around it like so, and so very nicely. So we're gonna glue this one on now. This is how I can tell where these parts go. Handy, because I couldn't tell from their instructions much at all where they went. Well, the instructions don't talk about it at all. I'm putting a drip of CA along here, like so. That. And then I'm going to put some kicker on this part, and then I'm going to position this like so. Boy, that stuck a little too fast. There we go. And that gives me that part. And that went really easy. No problems found. And then I think back here, this works basically the same way. That's got to be right. That's right. They do extend. They do extend past there. I know this isn't the right position, so these are, I don't know if these are supposed to be flush or not. I think they are. Okay, so I'm going to put on this fin. And they are supposed to be flush.
Does it matter if it's right?
Not yet. Boy. CA is supposed to be what sticks this stuff together. And we're going to get that on. Let that sit for a minute. Well, then we'll force down the other side. And one thing that would help too, and I didn't do, which you should always do this, is rough up, scratch up this stuff here. It'll stick better. Which is something I should
Not
have
so
done.
smooth.
Yeah, well, it gets something to bite into.
That makes sense.
Now, I'm going to spray some kicker on that, and some glue on this. We should get a nice bond. This part's warped, this one's fading pretty good.
Yeah, I'm totally seeing that difference.
And this one kind of aims upwards, which is not good. So I'm going to force a little CA down in there. We can sand later off. They need to be level to each other, which they are in fact now level to each other. Okay. It's pretty strong. Now this one's warped, so I'm going to press it down. And there's going to be some gaps and stuff. It's par for the course with this kind of kit. Spray down there.
because they didn't cut the sides quite straight. So I have to let them be the way they are and then fill in behind them later. Which I should not have forced that one down. So. Let's get there. And not going down at all. Yeah, there it is. And that takes care of those, and these, and then there's a part that goes in here, and then there's a we have to find. Okay, so I figured out how this stuff goes together. For a minute I thought some parts were missing, but basically the diplanes go here, and this is the salon which goes here, and there's a oh I forgot, yes, this part goes in here, like so. And then that goes there, like so, and the diplanes go here, like so. Rather well, so I'm happy about that. And that's why there's this big gap here, which is going to be interesting to work with because it really needs to go lower than this. We've got some warpage here, but also I'm doing, yeah, I do, because I can't sand anything or I'll sand into the rivets. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to be fixed, but I would suspect what we're actually going to do is cut into this a bit, step it down and step it down here. Is that even showing it? Let's see. Yes. We're going to step it down in here and then probably heat this a bit and it should be okay. And this should be the we're going to have to do some filling and stuff. This kit's really worked. Of course, here's the wheelhouse. These will go like so. It takes me a minute, and then I figure out how this whole thing goes together. By the end of next week, you'll be looking at the whole model sitting here with the watertight compartment in it, and probably some things functioning and that kind of stuff. I think this is this one here, which goes here, which also would have helped me to figure out where those pieces went. We're starting to have something that looks like the ship. We'll take a walk over it. So there we go. It's all making sense now. And I think we can probably get most of this together next week, which will be really, really cool. And thank you, Sasha. Akasha. God, I've known a Tasha, a Sasha, and now Akasha.
That's all right.
What else? Oh, yes. We found these. Where are they? Oh, yes. Here we are. Yeah, there they are. Yeah. Okay, sure. That's the wrong ones. That's the wrong side. That's the right one. Found these, which is really, really cool, because that means that's a little bit less rivet work I have to do. And they have them for down here as well, so I'm hoping I find more things like that, but I don't think I'm going to. I did find some other rivets. This is the one that goes on the bottom down here. And so I've got this figured out. These are beautiful. I mean, it's really nice work. Look at that. So we will come back to this next week. Actually, no, tomorrow. I'm going to do this tomorrow. Okay, at long last we'll open these molds. It is Saturday. We're back here. We can't see anybody, just the molds, but that's okay. Kasha's here. Hi, Kasha.
Hi.
Up.
Don't forget roses.
Yeah, of course, roses. I know you're all dying to see these open and see, as I am, if things work out or not. Then we're going to, the usual gag, tap, tap, tap to break the surface tension. Makes it release a little bit better. And we're going to, it should come apart really easy. As I just heard it do. The part where we're hanging up a little bit is over here.
Now, what you're looking at here, of course, is the open mold, and this is the hands, and you can just see under there. See, this is what it'll look like when we run this in foam. Interestingly enough,
What is that?
so silicone, but see, that would be the foam, and that's how thick the foam would be. And this is the thing we made, which, I mean, she did such a perfect job on. Yeah, she really, really did. So you can see a little bit of the wire showing. We're just going to remove all this. And I'm still kind of blocking it. Yeah, you can see it there. You can see that's the thickness of our foam. So we're going to get rid of all this first, all the way down to make it easier to pull this out. It's hopefully not breaking our hand. So. Okay, and we should be able to lift this out now. There we go. We did bend and break a little bit. They're so thin, but the wire's holding it together. So all we have to do is patch them. But that's the core. We're going to trim off all this outside material here. And you can see this is fairly strong. This would be our foam rubber had we run this in foam, but this is what the clay press was for. See the thickness? It equals that of the foam rubber. So now that means we can fit our mechanism inside the foam rubber piece that we make, which is going to be cool. So these came out pretty good. Really, I mean, she did such a good job, Jen, on doing these cores, and she's never done a core before, but she has worked a bit with prosthetics and this kind of thing, so she knew what I meant rather well, because these are beautiful. I mean, this is totally going to work. I couldn't be happier. So we got a little bit of thickness there. I don't know if it's supposed to be there or not. I don't think it is. But I mean, she got the edges to almost close exactly. So there's hardly anything to trim off. So that was really very, very successful. And of course, when we run the foam rubber, we put the foam in the mold and we drop this in there and we close the mold up. And then when we pull out the foam, we slit the wrists and slide the whole thing up. And now we have a nice hollow foam rubber glove. But this will have to be repaired. So put that way. And all this has to be cleaned out. And that has to be repaired. And that's our big job today. We'll open the other one.
You just want the clay clean?
But, yeah.
That's the one you just
Are we
did.
rolling? We are. Okay, we're going to open up this one. Two. Crunch, crunch.
What's that?
And we're going to open this up. There we go, and that's the other one. So we're going to do the same thing, pull this out, clean it off, and you can see we got the nice substructure in there. So we get these cleaned out and patched up, and we've got our mold. So here we have Kasha, and she's grinding off the stuff that comes between, this stuff here. And eventually looks like this. This one has to be repaired. Unfortunately, it broke. Okay, we're back at the Nautilus, and one of the things I want to do before I start gluing on any more parts is I want to put brass pins into them, and I'm going to drill some holes in here, which will make them a lot stronger, and then we'll epoxy them in or CA them in. And we're spricking kicker on there, and you see I've got the supports in there out of brass, and the idea here is to put some CA on if it will ever come out of the hole, because the hole keeps clogging. One of the things I really dislike about CA is how it clogs. And get some close proximity to the kicker. There it goes. Put a good healthy dose of that on there, on the pins and on that. And I pre-sanded it, so it should stick good. We're going to put that part right on there. There we go. And down it goes. And hold it tight because everything doesn't fit exactly correctly. It's kind of a little on the warp side. These are very sharp. Better to rip your hull out with. And I'll hold that down like so. So it goes off all the way. And I think we've got a nice, I mean that really does fit really good. And it's really strong. And I'll go from the back side and I'll put some Bondo around that and stuff. But that'll really, really help from, you know, knocking this off. Now eventually it will be attached to this somewhat permanently. This is warped, but it'll fit just like that. So this has to be heated and put down a bit because it's not quite fitting right, but that'll fit into there. So on these, since I can't really drive pins through them, I'm going to put reinforcement on the back sides with some Evercoat metal glaze because you can't use Bondo. Bondo is not waterproof. Trust me on that one. So there I was drilling away, and what I was drilling through was for the to this part here, and I went right through. I didn't think I'd do that. Maybe I did. Right into my finger. Isn't that great? Got blood everywhere. It was fun. Just like the monster movies I worked on. So what I'm trying to do is, of course, attach this, and I want to do the same thing on this because it'll be better that way. Let's go see what Kasha's doing. So now we got Kasha here. She is repairing using the technique that Gunnar, a very famous mold maker, if you don't know who he is, look him up, Gunnar, taught me for patching molds, and it works equally well for patching ultracal. And basically you take a little bit of water and dump some of this stuff in there until it cakes up a bit, and then you brush it in, and that'll get nice and hard and fix our problem. So, and thank you, Kasha, for doing that.
It's amazing
Coming in
how
today on a
little
Saturday.
you need and how
Yeah.
quickly it really molds to the hand.
You're doing a great job, and so yeah, you get those both done. Then we'll be able to bake these out, put them together,
You
bake
wanted
them
me
out.
to do this wrist too,
Yeah,
right?
get that little crack where we cracked it there. Luckily for us, we put a support wire in there. Okay, we did now. So we're doing the same thing here, and we're gonna. This goes like this, and so I've drilled the holes. Unfortunately, one through my finger. That's easily filled. I'm going to put some brass in here. Okay, so now we got that part in. Wasn't that fun? Of course, you know, and everything fits perfectly. This is what Evercoat's for, so we'll be able to seam all that. And really, it's quite nice. I mean, Ingles kits, they're pretty slick. So, yeah. What's interesting is that this doesn't match up to this very well. And I think they're supposed to be here at the same, and so are these, but whatever. We'll fix it in the end, or I'm wrong. I don't know which, but we'll find out. But I believe that these two are supposed to be up front. But you should notice this one hangs over, and this is definitely where it goes. And this one can only go there. If I had it go more forward, it wouldn't fit. So it must be this way, at least in their kit. What are we doing, Rosie? We're gonna go home to see Mary? We're gonna go see Xena? We are. Soon, maybe we'll see Uncle Ted. Uncle Ted. Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Okay, we're closing towards the end of the day here. I've got to go home, but look at that. You can see how beautifully parallel. You know, it's difficult to see this unless you lay the model on its side, but I can stand up here high over the bay by the loft. And you can see how darn straight those nacelles are, so I'm very, very pleased with it. It's a great way to end the week. And here, I'm still at the Nautilus a bit today, and what I just did is I made 2 plexiglass bulkheads. I haven't removed the paper yet, that fit pretty snug in here. And the idea here is, eventually there'll be a little bit of foam on there to protect this beautiful cylinder here from getting scratched. And this way, our cylinder is mounted very snugly and nice and level, pretty darn level. Might be down a little bit on this side here. What all I have to do to fix that is move this forward a bit. And then, of course, there will be little hooks here, and you wrap rubber bands over this, which holds it in rather snugly. And, of course, from here, we'll be able to operate our dive planes, which we have 2 locations of that. So I'm going to have this hooked up to a lever that controls these here, and these hooked up to a lever that controls those there. And of course, this runs the rudder. Actually, I'm going to use this one to run. Well, we'll see. I'm going to have a bar here. It goes back and forth, and that will run the dive planes. We may not even need this, but I think I will. Give a little extra strength. I'll hook them both to it. And then this one's for the rudder, which is metal. You have to put it together. It's just interesting. I've never seen a rudder like that before, but I'm sure it'll work fine. There aren't that many parts. I mean, without using their system for diving, there aren't that many. Of course, you know what these are for. Yes, sir. They go like that, which I think is really nice, the way they did that. So this will fit right in there, really nice and snug. And although they're waterproof, although in a pool water would make short work of those, because I know for a fact what pool water will do to those tabs, and they really do a number on them, and it's not good. I find what's interesting too is that they've got this little, they got some lights here. I think which are supposed to light up the inside of the dome, and I'm not sure to the salon what I'm going to have back there. We'll see what Steve wants me to do. Maybe we'll put a picture back there of the salon or something like that lights up. But that's really starting to go fast. This model. Let me put the top on. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. It's been a hell of a week. It's been a really fun week, and there's been a lot of different things we've been doing. And again, really thanks to our interns, and thank you all for your support. And if you can, go to Patreon and become a subscriber to SNG Studios. It helps support what we do here. You can pay as low as $3 a month or more, whatever you like, and you'll have access to all our material, both free and pay-per-view. Thank you again so much. We love you a whole bunch here at SNG Studios, and so does Rosie.